Now, let's move on to the last question of the video. Chris preferred to avoid equatorial countries. The intense sun would always leave him dash after he had spent the day sightseeing. The options are ebullient, invigorated, enervated, galvanized, and resplendent. Now that we have read the question, we need to find out two things. Number one, what the question is all about and what is its context, tone, and overall meaning. And number two, what are the key words and phrases and connectors. By knowing these, we'll be having a greater idea about what the question is all about, and we would be able to understand the logical flow or direction of ideas. In this question, we do not have the contrasting word like despite, in spite, even though, or although. So there is no contrast. On the contrary, in this question, we have a semicolon. The semicolon divides the question into two parts or two clauses, and the semicolon is not indicative of contrast or opposition. Rather, it's indicative of continuation or furthering. So in this question, the first part says that Chris preferred to avoid equatorial countries. That means he preferred to avoid hot and humid climate. And the second part says that the intense sun would always leave him dash after he had spent the day sightseeing. So our prediction for the blank would be that the intense sun would leave him drained or exhausted. So these are the predictions for the blank. With this in mind, let's move on to our option words. The very first word is ebullient. The word ebullient means full of confidence and energy, or happy, positive, energetic, and enthusiastic. The second option word is the word invigorated, which comes from the word invigorate. If something invigorates you, it makes you feel fresher, energetic, and enthusiastic, as for example, invigorated by a walk. The next option word is enervate. It looks like energized, but it is not so. It is the exact opposite of the word energized. The word enervated means drained or exhausted or left with no energy. The last option word is the word resplendent, which means expensive, fashionable, or good looking. If you describe someone or something as resplendent, you mean that it is very fashionable and expensive looking. It is usually used for the clothes and jewelry. Now that we have understood all the option words and their meaning, let's move on to the question and find out what were our predictions for the blank. Our predictions for the blank were drained out or exhausted. So let's check it out from the options as well. As we can see from the options that only the option enervated matches with our prediction for the blank, that's drained or exhausted. So our correct answer would be enervated.